Today, we are going to learn about the periodic table. What is the periodic table? First, let's talk about chemical elements. Everything around us and in the entire universe is made up of building blocks. Those blocks are called chemical elements. So far, scientists have discovered 118 elements. That information is organized on a grid and called the periodic table. There are different parts of the periodic table, and learning each part will help you better understand the different elements and why they are grouped together in specific patterns. Rows going left to right on the periodic table are called periods. There are 7 periods in total on the periodic table. Did you know that as you move from left to right on the table, each element gains 1 more proton? The periodic table has columns that go up and down. These columns are called groups, and there are 18 groups in total on the periodic table. As you look from the top to the bottom on the table, each element gets a little bit heavier in atomic mass. Different elements are grouped together based on similar properties. And these groups of elements are called families. We will go over each family soon. Before we get started on the different elements and families of elements, be sure to remember how to read the periodic table. Each square on the table represents 1 element. Now that we know each box is 1 element, how do we read what is in the box? How do we read each box to understand the element? There are 4 main parts inside each element's box. First, you have the number in the top left. That number tells us how many protons each atom of this element contains. Next, you have the big letters. See here where it says Ca? That is the abbreviation of the element's name, and it is also called the chemical symbol. Under the chemical symbol, you can see the full name of the element. At the very bottom, you will see another number. This number is called the atomic mass, or how heavy the element is. One cool fact about the periodic table is that the chemical symbols and labels are the same in every country and every language. Now that we know how to read the element boxes, let's look at the different types of element families on the periodic table. First, you have reactive metals. These are located on the left side of the periodic table. These metals are called reactive because they react by flashing, banging, or exploding when in contact with other elements. The next family you see in the middle of the table contains transition metals. These are metals we often think about and know. Transition metals are hard and shiny, and they have high heat and electrical conductivity. These are also called precious metals, like gold and silver. To the right of the transition metals, we have a family called base metals. These metals we use every day and are considered to be low in value. These metals are mostly soft and not very shiny. Think of a can of soup or metal pipe. Next, we have a family called semi-metals. The word semi means half in Latin, and that is a great way to describe these metals. Semi-metals act a little like metals, but they also act a little like non-metals. You may also see these called metalloids. Now we have a family called non-metals. These are elements that are all around us, and they are very important for life here on Earth. Think of the air we breathe. Do you know what that's called? Yes, oxygen. To the right of the periodic table, we have halogens. Halogens comes from the Greek word halo, which means salts, and gen, which means formation. These elements readily combine with metals to form salts. They can also form strong acidic compounds. On the far right of the table, we have noble gases. Noble gases often stay to themselves and don't react much with other elements. They are odorless, colorless, monatomic, meaning they only have one atom, gases. Now at the bottom of the periodic table, we have our last two groups. These groups are both radioactive. That means they release dangerous rays when they break apart. First, we have a family called lanthanides. These elements have several names, including the lanthanide series and the rare earth elements. These are shiny, soft materials that can often be cut with a knife. Finally, we have the second radioactive family called actinides. These elements are also referred to as rare earth metals. All of these elements are radioactive because they are unstable. They are considered toxic and must be handled carefully. That's it. I hope you enjoyed learning more about the periodic table, how to read the element boxes, and the different groups of elements. Thanks for learning with us.